Kruse. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, follow me on social media at Miss Tori Kruse. I really appreciate it. So today we have on the show Kim Forsyth Pitney. She's one of my longest mentors and dear friend now. Thank you so much for being on the show, and I'm just so happy to see your face again and talk to you and have your beautiful knowledge spread all throughout the world with these women who are listening.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to see your face. I'm happy to see all the successes and stuff that you're doing and accomplishing. And yeah, I'm just so excited you asked me to be on.
Of course. So a little bit of background. Kim was a Miss Arkansas USA, and also she's a pageant coach now and a mama of 3 beautiful girls, has an awesome supportive husband, and she's just doing all the things. So Kim, tell us what exactly you're up to now with all the kiddos and then also with your pageant coaching.
Yeah. So pageant coaching, I'm entering, I think it's my 14th year of pageant coaching, which makes me very old, and that's okay. But I love coaching for a lot of reasons, but one, as a mom of 3, it's something that I can do on my own schedule and allows me to still have a career path and affect girls and help them in their pageant journey, but yet still reserve the time that I need for my family. So I really love doing it. I just had one of my clients win Miss United States. So that was the national winner we had this past summer, which was super exciting. Several girls that are going to Miss USA this year. So yeah, it's been a huge blessing for sure.
Yeah. And
I mean, well now, and I've got these 3 little girls, right? So they're 1, 5, and 8, and they are doing all the things. I feel like I just need to create like mom Uber, like that's my hashtag is mom Uber, because they definitely live their best life and I just drive them everywhere they need to go, but it's okay. I love them.
That's so cute. And off camera, you were just saying that your middle girl, Kennedy, is actually doing some modeling now too, which is
I know, it's so funny. Like I've become this momager that I didn't really like intend to do, but you know, it's so funny as a mom, I look at my 3 children and they all have very different personalities and different likes and talents. And my middle one is my competitive dancer. She just got asked to do a couple of little modeling jobs and she loves it. Whereas my oldest one is more creative. She's an incredible writer and she's an incredible soccer player. And so you just learn, it's been a great lesson for pageant coaching too, to really work within their personality and what makes them tick and what their special talents and assets are, and working to try to make those bloom. You know, in pageantry, we talk a lot about not comparing yourself to other people. And as a mom, I have to really be aware of that too with my girls, because you know, I think they sometimes want to compare themselves, and it's like, y'all are so different. Yeah. And your dad and I are going to make sure that you have everything to go down your path, and it's going to be different probably than your sister's path. And that's okay. You know, that we need to celebrate that and support each other in those different paths and not compare.
So I think it was actually 2014 when we started working together, because I started competing for Miss Missouri in the 2015 year. So it was, so about 6 years ago, but I do remember so many things about working with you, but the number one thing that really stuck out was you just like really made sure I was authentic to myself. And although that sounds super cliche in the pageant world, but it's so true. And I think you really have that talent of just making sure the girls are just genuine and authentic and speaking from the heart and not just having this like almost phony answer. So how do you teach your clients to be that genuine?
Yeah, it's hard too, because in the world of pageantry, in the world of social media, we see, you know, somebody who wins or somebody that we admire, and we think we've got to copy, right? And we've got to be like them in order to get the same outcome. And you know, in our flawed human brains, I get that. But as somebody who's judged a teen number of pageants, judges are tired of it. We're tired of the same old. You know, now we're a society where we're looking for different. We're looking for interesting. And we can see through it. We can see through someone who's trying to be somebody they're not, or who are trying to put on a certain face, or, or trying to act their way through it or give a perfect answer. And I think we're just really tired of it. And so much of pageantry, and really anything in life that we compete for or that we're trying to accomplish, it's all about connecting with other humans. And when we put up that wall of fakeness or a wall of disingenuousness, it minimizes our ability to connect, right? And when we are our true, authentic selves, we just have this connection, and we end up liking other people more, and other people liking us more. Yeah. It's very interesting. And I think whenever I'm working with someone, especially in their teens, they're not really sure who they are yet. Figure that out. They're trying to figure out what they like, what their dislikes are, who they admire, what they want to be. And so I try to focus on those things and help them develop that, not necessarily copy someone else.
And so how do you go about that with comparison, and even from teaching your little girls not to compare to then teaching your pageant clients not to compare themselves to others?
Yeah. Well, one thing I tell girls all the time is it's not a one-time thing. You don't just decide, oh my goodness, I'm not going to compare myself. We are women. Okay. So naturally we do it. Our society conditions us to do it. We are drowning in social media, which presents every opportunity to compare ourselves to others. And so it's not something you decide once. It's a mindset that you have to develop. And I tell girls all the time, if you find yourself comparing or going, oh, she's amazing, or, oh, I wish I was like that, you have to condition yourself to go, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to allow myself to fall into that cycle again. So it's a decision you have to make over and over and over daily. It's a practice. It's very much like meditation or yoga. You have to practice it in order to get good at it. And if you do find yourself comparing, not to get upset or mad at yourself, but just gently remind yourself that that's not going to be what's going to help you be successful. One of my absolute favorite quotes or saying is, comparison is the thief of joy. And it really, truly is. But we have to constantly remind ourselves of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so this all goes back to, like, I'm having flashbacks as you're talking of when you were coaching me, and I absolutely love it. It's like total deja vu. So whether, I guess, you know it or not, you were the first person, the leader, who's really started to develop my positive mindset, my winning mindset, I would say. And so I have to give the credit to you for definitely introducing me to The Secret. We talked about that a little bit off camera, and you introduced me to The Secret, and then I kind of took it from there, and then you just pushed me to be my absolute greatest. So what do you recommend to your clients, or just to any girls listening who are trying to develop that winning mindset?
Yeah, I always start with The Secret. It's one of the most impactful books in my life that, like you said, it kind of leads to other authors and other mentors to come into your life. But it's a very simple read, talking about the law of attraction. And I think sometimes we get in the mindset that when we're competing, that there's something that's scarce and we're all scrambling for it. And when you change your mindset and realize that there is abundance, and that the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, wants to give you everything that you want, and that it's all available and accessible to you, especially with the law of attraction, it just kind of changes everything. Mm-hmm. I teach my clients visualizations, like how to visualize what it is they want. Some people like to do, I know you did this, you were always very visual. So you would show me all the like visual things you had around your room and your apartment, to constantly remind you of what your goals were and what you wanted. A lot of authors are big proponents of that. And so I think I just try to teach them that you have to ask for what you want, but then you have to put the wheels in motion. You do the practice, you do the work, you put the effort in, work toward elevating your vibrations, operating in a very positive kind of mindset, and you really can accomplish anything you want.
You really can. I'll never forget the story when you were telling me about visualization, and you're like, I literally manifested my husband. And I absolutely love that. Like, I still think of that to this day, because I'm like, man, if she can manifest her husband, so can I. So literally that was, I mean, on a pageant note, I remember you saying that. And your car and your Mercedes.
My car.
Yes.
I did. I manifested a Mercedes. It's unreal, the capacity we have.
It is.
And the abundance that's out there for us. I think we're just afraid to ask for it. But yeah, I mean, I remember writing down one of my favorite journals, and The Secret introduces this journal, is if you have a journal with 2 pages, on one page, you write all the things you are grateful for right now in your life, because gratitude is everything. Being grateful for your abundance you have is so important. But then on the other page, you write what you're grateful for having in the future, but you write it in the present tense, like you already have it. Yes. And so I just went, I'm like, okay, well, let's just see what all we can manifest, and I would let my mind go and just, all the things that I would want, whether it was logical or rational, I would just write them. And there's so much power for that. And, for some people, they think, oh, manifesting a Mercedes, who cares? Go buy your own Mercedes. But for someone who grew up in a very difficult childhood, on welfare, on food stamps, great poverty, a lot of trauma, having a vehicle like that was unthinkable at the time when I was a child, and now to know that you really do have the power to have, and not just material things, but, my life partner, my husband, I knew very early on, that I was going to meet him in college. He was going to be from Arizona, or he's going to be from the desert. I just remember these things, and he's amazing. And I owe a lot of who I am and what I have become to him.
I literally have the goosebumps right now listening to that. I love that story. So you mentioned your childhood. How have you overcame challenges from your childhood, and how do you overcome challenges now on a daily basis with being a wife and a mother of 3 beautiful little girls?
Yeah, I mean, my childhood is something I don't share a lot with people, only because I never wanted anybody to feel sorry for me. But, without going into great details, my mom had me in high school. She dropped out of high school in order to have me. So we were disadvantaged at the front. I never knew my real biological father. My mother married, but he was an alcoholic, and a very violent alcoholic. We were very, very, very poor, on welfare, on food stamps, all the things. And I learned very early on. I was lucky to have my mom, who made sure that I wasn't limited by that. And I had other people and mentors in my life. And I realized that I had control over my choices. I didn't have control over my situation. I didn't have control over my dad. I didn't have control over my mom not being educated and not having, she provided for us for sure, but there definitely was not extra. Yeah. I've worked since I was 14 years old to help provide for my family and to help get the things that I wanted. But I learned that I had control over my choices, and that I had to take responsibility for my choices. And it gave me a bigger perspective in life. I knew that I wasn't limited to the town I was in, the situation we were in. There's always a way to get out. So I immersed myself in studying. I knew I had to go to school. I knew I had to get a scholarship because there was $0 for college. And I knew I had to go to school, and I knew my education would get me out. So I made the decision to study. I made the decision to not be involved in a lot of popular things in order to do that. But I tell especially my teenagers, my clients, a lot, you have control. You have control over your actions. You have control over who you choose to hang out with. You have control over how you react to other people. You have control over the goals you set for yourself. And so we very often feel, especially when we're younger, that we don't have any control over our lives, but we do. Mm-hmm. And if you take control over that and have responsibility for your actions, you realize you can accomplish anything really at any age.
I hope all the girls are taking notes right now, especially the teenagers, because if I would have known that advice when I was a teenager, I mean, who knows where life would be now, but that's really, really phenomenal advice. So
thanks. Yeah. I mean, because I think, too, kids feel pressure, whether it's drugs, alcohol, bullying, social media bullying, they get the pressure from other people. And sometimes it's okay to be the person that stands up and says, this is not a choice I'm going to make. And that we can't blame somebody else for pressuring us into it. We have to take responsibility for what we do. And I think that just helped me. It's one thing that I try to instill in my kids. They so fortunately don't have the childhood I have. We work very hard. And my number one goal was for them to have a complete opposite experience of childhood than I did. But a lot of the lessons that I learned, we try really hard to instill in our kids, because that's just life. I mean, being someone who is now an adult on her own, being an entrepreneur, I mean, don't you feel the same way?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, completely.
Nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody else is going to make the videos. No one else is going to get the clients. No one else is going to make your business succeed, but you can have control over that with your individual actions every day. The things you choose every day will be what your outcome is in life.
Amen to that. So wrapping up here, is there any other lasting pieces of advice that you have for any women or young adults listening who maybe are trying to have more self-confidence in themselves?
You are enough. You are enough. You are enough just the way you are. Mm-hmm. And I tell people all the time, if your involvement in social media makes you feel anything other than that, because I feel that's where a lot of our self-doubt and a lot of our comparison is coming from. Again, you have control over it. I love social media. I'm all for it. And there are a lot of positives that can come from it. But if you're in a certain place in life where it's making you feel like you're not enough, it's making you feel like everybody else has something that you don't, turn it off. If you want to post, but don't scroll. And I think we need to be open with one another and almost have partners where we go, okay, we're not doing social media, or we're taking a break, or, because it is so easy when we fall into that and we're constantly bombarded with it. It's easy to feel like we're not enough. Mm-hmm. And so if you're in a place in life, and we all have peaks and valleys. I go through peaks and valleys, or I look at other moms who, have amazing careers, or are making tons of money that I'm not, because I choose to stay at home with my kids, right. or accomplishing things that I certainly want to accomplish, that you got to go, it's okay. We celebrate them and their accomplishments, but we don't all have the same journeys. We don't all have the same paths, and everything we want, we will get. It's just not always at the same time.
Exactly.
It's not just at the same time. And we will all get it, and we will all, I don't know, that again, there's abundance in everything. And if you're finding yourself comparing yourself or not feeling enough, have enough fortitude to go, okay, this is causing me anguish right now, so I'm going to let it go for a couple of days, or a week, or a month, or I'm going to do it different, or I'm going to make my social media be different to attract different messages that I want to see. We have the ability to do that too.
Exactly.
To limit who we share with or who we follow, so that we choose what we feed ourselves. And I think that's important too, to kind of take over those choices.
It definitely is. That's one of the things that I actually teach my coaching clients is with social media. If you are scrolling through and you look at one picture and you notice yourself comparing yourself to that person, delete. Like, do not follow that person anymore. If you look at that picture and you just get a bad feeling about them, like just not good, not positive, unfollow. Like, simple as that. And it's not, maybe that person is a great person, but for some reason you just keep comparing and comparing and comparing. And I think that it totally is the thief of joy. And so that's great advice that you give. And I give the same advice. I probably got that from you from about 2 years ago.
Well, I mean, and it's hard, and anybody thinks that I'm perfect at it. I'm certainly not. It's something that I constantly have to remind myself, you know, somebody's being a better mom, or somebody's being a better wife, or their house is cleaner, or, you know, their careers are more successful. You know, we all make choices, and you have to prioritize what's important in your life right now. Right now, my life is crazy. I have a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, my house is always a train wreck right now, and I could have it be perfect, but that would be sacrificing time with my kids, or time with my husband, or time with things that are important. So we get told you can have it all, and you can, but not always at the same time.
Right.
And it's okay that some things slip, or some things aren't maybe up to what our standards might be, if we're prioritizing something else at the time. We all only have 24 hours, right? The other thing that we were talking about off camera too, which I try to tell my clients, is find what feeds your soul. Find authors, find books, podcasts, Audible books, things that occupy you that aren't maybe necessarily social media, and feed yourself that. I mean, you know me, I love Rhonda Byrne and The Secret. I'm a big follower and lover of Wayne Dyer. He was somebody that I read all of his books, and they were very important to me. I have clients that love Joel Osteen. You've got books like Confidence Code, you know, all kinds of books and authors right now that really are wonderful. And we always have to feed, because what we feed ourselves is what persists, right? What we think about becomes our reality. Yes. So when we start feeding and thinking about the things that we want and the mindset that we want, that's what will appear. So, you know, get with your friends. I mean, I love, you already gave me a couple of books that I'm interested in reading, but we've got to feed ourselves. If you don't like to read or don't have time to read, get it on Audible, listen to it in the car, whatever, but you've got to feed yourself constantly. If not, we allow the negative to come in.
Exactly. And also YouTube as well. I mean, even this, like, literally, all joking aside, just listening to your interview too, it's like hearing that wisdom and hearing that knowledge from an expert is so, so important. And we have so much to our disposal now with YouTube and podcasts and books and audibles. Like, there's unlimited resources. So I'm right there with you. If there's any girls that would like to contact you for coaching, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have a really silly email address that I've had for a long time that everybody tends to remember. Do you remember my email address?
Yeah, Malibu Kim.
So my email address is Malibu Kim, Malibu, like the city. I went to Pepperdine University, which is in Malibu. That's where the email address came from. Okay. So Malibu Kim at Yahoo. I also am on Instagram and Facebook, Kim Forsyth Pitney.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kim. It was so amazing seeing your face, of course, and just hearing your words of wisdom. It's always so refreshing and such an inspiration. So thanks for taking the time away from your little girls today to jump on this call.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thanks for having me. I love sharing. I want you to know how proud I am of you. You've got lots of people cheering for you and are proud in everything that you're doing and the business that you're building and the inspiration you're giving to other people. So sister, like, keep on going.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope to see you soon.
Love you bunches.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye, darling.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that episode just as much as I did. Please put your comments below, hit subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Follow me on social media at Miss Tori Kruse. Until next time, be unstoppable.